following program on Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations. We would like to remind our viewers that the views expressed in this program by our participating guests are solely viewpoints of them who take part, and does not reflect the views and beliefs of the Derana Media Network.
Welcome down to Gen XYZ right here on Derana 24, where we're bringing to you something very, very different. We're bringing to you down south. This is Valigama of Sri Lanka. We're giving you a little bit of a taste of what colonization is all about. Yep, you heard me right. We're talking about colonization in music and entertainment. We've been so influenced with Western music. When we actually hear even a small tune or a slight tune of Tamil or Sinhala, we really feel disgust about it. Well, that is exactly where we're going to come telling you, an international DJ who we're joining in today with, by the way. You're an international DJ, okay? We're joining in with Rob, the DJ, to tell you a little bit about why it is important. You as the youth of Sri Lanka need to embrace the tunes and exactly what the local music has to offer to you right here in Sri Lanka, all right? And with that, well, thank you so much for joining us today on Gen XYZ. Very glad to actually come on board today as well. We've got a beautiful location, which is the beach. I love the down south beach, but we've got to talk about your music, right? Now, obviously, you've got a little bit more of an exposure when it comes to international music, right? You've really gone out in India, you've gone to different other places as well and played, but the unique aspect is you don't really play the common music. No. You play and interject Sri Lankan music, and I love that. How did that come about?
I think one of the key things when I got into music is to look within, because I grew up with a lot of Tamil music, a lot of Indian music, a little bit of Sinhala music growing up at home. Like, my parents wouldn't know any of the 90s, 80s discos or any of this song. This never got played in our household. I grew up with a lot of our own music. So when I started DJing and started playing, I wanted to bring that aspect into the music that I play. And to be honest, like 99% of people who listen to music here or live here, whether in Sri Lanka or India or any part of Asia, this is what they have actually listened to at home. It's just once they've grown up a little bit and they're going out into music venues, bars and clubs, they feel like they need to lock this side of themselves away and embrace more of the Western music and Western culture, because they feel like if they listen to more Western music, they feel more rich or they feel more like
posh, if you put it that way,
higher status. Yeah. But that's nonsense, right? Because why would a certain type of music give you any sort of status or a certain language, or the way the language you speak gives you a certain status or make you feel or look more richer or wiser or intelligent. No, it doesn't. Music is a tool, it's a feeling, right? So you got to really embrace what's within you and what's in your kind of genetic. And it's super interesting. Like, I played in the streets all around Sri Lanka and in super posh, high-end locations
as well.
like, Cinnamon Life and all these places, right? And my music doesn't change. And sometimes I like to experiment. Even in these like super high society, elite spaces, I would drop in Tamil or Sinhala music and people wake up. Firstly, they're shocked. And then something in them
changes. It's like,
and then they start to embrace it. So I like to do these kind of experiments to see how people react, and it's always been a positive one. On the flip side, I've also had negative kind of responses, not from the audience, but more from the authorities of venues.
Right.
They feel like if they play our local music, the status of their venue then drops. They want to, you can play any random kind of like Latin, Spanish, French, any Western, it could be totally random, the lyrics can be nonsense, and they wouldn't even know what they're actually singing, but because it's a Western language, it's completely fine. The moment you drop like one bit of like Tamil or Sinhala vocal, everyone freaks out. I've had instances when the security comes and tells me to shut it down, or you can't do this, or stop. It's like, it's crazy. Firstly, it was quite shocking to me, but then I started thinking a little bit more deeper into why this happens, right? I was born here, a little bit of background of me, born in Jaffna. I fled the war when I was 5 years old and moved to Colombo. I lived a little bit and then moved to the UK. And spent 22 years of my life in the UK, and a little bit in Singapore, and then came back to living on the island year and a half ago now. And all the stuff that happens here, this post-colonialism is thriving here. You see this in music, you see this in everyday life, the way we behave, the way we treat each other, and so on. So my question was like, okay, why aren't people accepting local music? Why aren't venues allowing local artists and DJs to play Tamil or Sinhala music? The problem is that their minds are still colonized. It's like, think about it, for 600 years, of 600 years, that's almost like, you can say 7 or 8 generations. My parents, then my grandparents, their ones before that. For 600 years, we were told that we are below a certain ruling class of people. We're below the colonial European powers. Our language is below this. Our music is inferior to this. And our culture is inferior to this. We've been told this for generations, that we are inferior. But we've only been as a free republic for 72 years. And it's just about like one generation. You know, my grandma has seen multiple different governments. And she's still alive. So
she's still alive.
She's still alive. And the jump has not been big, right? But the change is starting to happen a little bit more now, because like my generation and the generation to come has to say, okay, stop. We're no longer British Ceylon. We're no longer Portuguese Ceylon. We're no longer a Dutch colony, right? We are an independent republic. We will embrace our language. We will embrace our culture. This is what we got to offer to the world. And the change happens now. And the venues will automatically change also based on audience. If the audience wants more of this and are willing to pay, they're the ones who are paying. If people aren't coming to these venues, the venues won't exist, right? So as this changes, the venue's attitude will also change.
Rob, so it's very interesting the fact that, you've also sort of got international exposure, right? We're talking about India, we're talking about, so many other places.
Played in all over Europe.
All over Europe as well. So how has their reaction been to it as well? Because you're incorporating completely the Sri Lankan sense of music, tunes to the Tamil tunes, the Sinhala tunes. It's absolutely beautiful, right? How is their reaction to it?
That's the funny thing, right? So even in Sri Lanka, when I play in Colombo, to 99% of Sri Lankan audience, their reaction has now become so much better and they love it. But initially it was a little bit difficult, right? Because you get turned down for playing our own music. But in the South, where it's 99% foreigners and locals, they love it. It's because that's what they come here for. Why would they travel thousands of miles to listen to their own music that they listen to back home? So they love it when they have something more of the local experience, and they want to hear music from this part of the world, right? And even when I go to India, it's the same. Similar kind of mindset. I even had instances where I wasn't even playing. It was a playlist and it had tiny bit of like Tamil vocals. And then the manager said, oh, you need to turn this off.
You
Like,
turn
they
it
start
off and
panicking.
stop it. Okay,
they start
yeah.
panicking because it's against what their beliefs are,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And when I played in Europe, I played the same stuff. A lot more of this culture taken outside. We need to export more of this stuff.
Yeah.
And this is never going to stop me, because for me, it's like, okay, we need to fight through this hard bit and export more of our music and culture to the outside world. And that's what's going to help us grow.
Yeah.
We don't need to find, of course, we get inspiration ideas from different parts of the world, but for creation and creativity and authenticity, we need to look within ourselves. And it's all here. It's not anywhere else. We don't need to replicate, we don't need to copy, we don't need to be like anyone else. Let's look within ourselves and take this stuff to the rest of the world.
I love that you're saying this and you're actually standing up to it as well, because I feel like a lot of Sri Lankans, especially, you know, in the set of music, DJing to whatnot, right? All of them themselves adapt to this feature of being like, hey, you know what? It's okay. This is what the trend is. This is what the market is. I'm going to go with it. I'm basically going to go ahead and basically be like, hey, I'm just going to go what the Western people play. I'm not going to indulge or bring my authenticity. That is where you stand out, because you bring authenticity, right? And I love the fact that you do that. But what is the main thing that you find that the Sri Lankan market in music has to do in order to decolonize? And I'd use it. This is your word, by the way. Decolonize it. You know, how do you
There's a lot
decolonize
of
it?
decolonizing to do in this country.
Yeah.
I think, you know, one of the key things is like, well, is salaries, right? Like a lot of the DJs here, musicians, we all have bills to pay, right? And they're employed by venues, and they have to listen to what the venue is telling them to play. And if they don't listen, they're going to get fired, and they need to pay their bills. So there is that financial kind of pressure on one end.
Yeah.
And then second is the audience, right? So you need to really start pushing this sound into the audience to build that crowd. So I've been, you know, quite fortunate to have a small following of people who listen to my music and come, and this has only grown to this extent because I'm authentic to the kind of music I play and I stand up to it.
Right.
And luckily I'm not, you know, God willingly, I'm not so financially pressured to have to listen to venue owners and play what they want.
Yeah.
I have a bit more freedom, but I would love to have more of the artists and DJs in this country to have this freedom to be able to express themselves fully and experiment and do things they like and be more authentic to themselves, right? So this is the issue here, like the creativity, the creative space, and allowing them to really express themselves and go out and find their own space.
And
then the
authenticity
financial,
as well.
the financial aspect of it.
All right,
So
that's
those are
wonderful
two.
that you mentioned that, because I feel like, you know, we need to get another perspective as well when we come to a person that is actually in the market as well, just like you are, right? But following the rules of, hey, this is the kind of music you want, I'll play this. But I still have this authenticity that I have behind my back as well, that I want to play, right? So we'll talk a little bit more on the other side, but thank you so much for joining us
All
today
good.
on Gen XYZ. But until then, going to jump into a short commercial break. Welcome back to Gen XYZ right here on Other Than 24, where we're in conversation with absolute talents. We're talking about people that have actually changed the mindsets of the youth members that find, the infusion of Tamil tunes, Sinhala tunes, very disgusting. Well, that's the unfortunate reality of, colonization, westernization, all of these factors that really contribute to our mindsets when it comes to loving music as well. That is exactly why we've got two DJs, international DJs by the way, that have actually gone outside of the country and really made us all proud as well as Sri Lankans. We are talking about Rob the DJ, and we've got Kais as well, who's part of the show right now. Well, thank you so much guys for joining us. Now Rob, we obviously had a conversation about what the market is, right? You don't change the market because that is who you are. That is your authenticity. That is the identity that you actually stand by as well, right?
Right.
But we've got someone who's actually in the market, and obviously, Jason, you've actually done quite a lot when it comes to really in music as well. You've taken music internationally as well. So how has that been, especially when you compare the culture outside and here, when you mix the music with your genres?
Let's take it this way. When I play over there and mix genres and mix if I play Tamil or Sinhalese mashup, they don't really care. They just love the music. But they go mad because they like the stuff what we usually do here. But when we play here in the clubs, I don't feel that we don't get much respected when we play those stuff, honestly. And it's kind of sad to see that. But yeah.
See, you're the youth as well, right? You're quite young as well.
Yeah.
So what is your take on it? Because even when you're still growing up, but you're still established as a DJ. What is your take on it? Because especially the youth members that come, because you're playing to them. What is your take on it when it comes to them loving music?
I think it's essential to play some, now if I actually listen to Sinhala rap music which can be played in clubs. For the youth, there's some songs that would actually would be able to play in the clubs and the youth actually loves it. That's because once I played a song, a very famous song. It's called Nike, and I mashed it up with an English beat. And I was playing it was a birthday party, and I was playing for some kids. And they went mad. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So think it's a good thing, yeah.
Do you see you're making the change as well? Because now I know Rob he's making that change, right? In the industry as well of music. Incorporating the Sinhala, the Tamil diaspora of music. So it's amazing, right? Are you planning to do that as well in the future?
Yes, definitely. Because now in Sri Lanka, the Tamil market is going up right now. The Tamil market is going up, and recently there's a club opened also which we can play Tamil, Hindi and Sinhalese as well. And I started making Tamil edits as well because now people just love the Tamil edits now, and yeah, I will tap it into the market definitely.
All right, amazing. Now I know Rob is actually a part of this whole thing when it comes to going out of the country as well. You actually played out of the country. How do you find it? Because you didn't grow up in Sri Lanka, right? Now Jason grew up in Sri Lanka. You going out of the country and you coming back to Sri Lanka. How was that change like, especially when it comes to music?
I think for me it's a lot of learning. Every day I'm learning more and more about my country and how people live here. It's a whole different ball game. It's so different, and every day you're learning stuff. You're learning things about people, the behavior, and I try and question everything as to why people behave in a certain way here, why this has become the norm. And sometimes, you can connect a lot of it back to, again, colonization and what we've been told for hundreds of years and how we should behave. There is also the aspect of poverty and some of the things that we have gone through, the wartime, poverty, financial crisis. The way Sri Lankans behave is all a result of all these things that have happened to us. So it's always good to learn, and even in the music scene it's the same, even amongst DJs and musicians, this idea of competition. This is the biggest downfall of Sri Lankans, is that they think they have to compete with their neighbor. There is nothing about co-creation. They think their world is so small. They think that their world is this little island. No one cares. The world is so big. They don't want to go outside. Some people don't even want to play outside their own villages. So they don't want to play with the neighbor next door, another DJ. There's nothing about supporting. It's about competition. I need to bring this one person down for me to get there. It's not about that. If you co-create and build and support each other, then the market grows and the music grows, the scene grows, and more people can evolve and you can create more better things. but we need to really change this mindset. And this mindset has been applied across all the different industries, not just in music. Even just like your behavior with your neighbor, like your behavior with your co-workers. There is no competition here. We're such a small population in the world. No one really cares. We're not competing amongst ourselves. We need to go and compete with the rest of the world, show our talent. Then you see what the competition is.
All right, I love that initiation that you're actually doing.
That's definitely true.
Now, I know the both of you sort of like mix around when it comes to house music, Afro music, Sri Lankan music as well. When you mix these around, how do you actually come into play? Because house music right now is like taking over. It's taking over all of entertainment right now. How is that? Because that is a trend that you follow as well. But how do you change it into your style of things? I think I'm going to just ask that from Jason. Tell me your take on it.
I think, okay, if you say house music, I think progressive music is way on, like, people say it's Ibiza part 2 now. In Sri Lanka's, every weekend there's a progressive party. But I would a bit step aside from the progressive because people actually just like the vibe. They don't want any, but Sinhala songs, yes, you can mash it up and play it. Tamil songs, I have never tried it, and I have not heard anyone making any mashup with like Tamil songs. Yes.
Tamil
progressive music. Progressive music.
Yeah, you can mix with everything.
House music, yes. Even I have made mashups, and his mashups as well. But in progressive market, I don't think the people actually like it. But if you can, yes, if that will go high as well. Because if house is working with Tamil, why not progressive?
No problem. There's a guy called CMB Cruz.
I was just watching a reel of him.
Yeah, he does it all.
He does it all.
They have such a crowd and a vibe. And even like when I played in London this time, and it was predominantly like 90% Sri Lankan Tamil crowd, and I was mixing a lot of the Afro house stuff with the Tamil music and their vibe. It's so crazy that the diaspora, the Sri Lankans, Tamils, the Sri Lankan Sinhalese outside of the island appreciate this so much more than the one here.
Well, I actually have a question for you, right? Now, it's all about vibe. Now, Rob was actually mentioning about vibe as well. But if you curtail to the vibe of someone, then they would need Western music, they would need Tamil music. It's going to be different, right? But how do you, with your music, change the vibe to influence that crowd?
Okay. Say if it's a Western crowd and they want Western music, I would take some other genre or any other country's music and I'll mix it with Western music.
But what if they don't like it? Because that's usually the case in Sri Lanka, right? Because we consider the elite as posh and they pretend to be posh. That's the reality, right?
But actually, no. Because, example, this happened to me once when I was playing in the club. People hated this song. I used to like mix it with it's basically called baile funk, which has a touch of like Sri Lankan drums and Indian drums as well. People didn't like it first. But a few months later, that posh crowd started liking it more. Because people, first when they listen to music, let's say a rap song, they don't like it. But when they keep on listening to it more and more, they will start to like it. Same on Western music as well.
Okay, so is that how you change the vibe?
Yes.
Okay, very interesting.
Right now, that's the same thing I do. Like, I started playing baile funk, which is, because baile funk is like Brazilian type beat, but if you actually listen to it, the elements, it's like a gataberea and all those Sri Lankan instruments.
You know why that's the case?
What?
Who colonized Brazil?
I actually don't know.
Portugal.
Oh, all right.
What do they speak there? Portuguese. Who colonized Sri Lanka? Where does the word baila come from?
Exactly.
Baila and baila.
That's true. He's got his facts.
So yes.
Yeah. But that's the reality of things, right? How do you sort of inspire or change the vibe of a room as well? Because you play internationally as well. The vibe there is very different to Sri Lanka. How do you influence the vibe?
For me, it's not like vibe is one thing. Vibe is what is a result of energy that you create and the journey that you take people on. The way I play music is different because I know I have a 2 or 3 hour set and it's a journey, it's a storytelling. So I try and plan it out that way, so then you get people onto the same kind of energy level and then keep the vibe that way. So that's why I love house music, because for me, house music is about love, it's about community, and it's about creating this energy. Very little like lyrics, and the lyrics are always generally positive, a good thing. There is no lyrics about drugs, sex or money, which you see in some other genres.
Majority
It's not
is
about that.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
about hate.
Yeah.
It's not about violence. So that's why I love house music, because it's about love. And you can infuse house music with various different genres.
Yeah.
You can throw in Tamil vocals in there, you can throw in Sinhala vocals in the instrumental. It's very versatile. So this allows me to create this kind of positive vibe, which we desperately need in this country.
All right, thank you so much for doing this with us, of course. And you're talking about, house music, right? It's such a plain canvas as well, where you can really experiment on music as well. I love that, honestly. So thank you once again.
Thank you for asking me.
Well, Jason, I've got one question for you,
Yeah.
right? Give me one word that describes and influences the youth that's watching right now as well to really love the diaspora's music. We're talking about Sinhala music, Tamil music, all of these elements of Sri Lanka. One word.
I mean, everyone knows it. It's just baila.
Whoa.
Everyone just loves baila.
Baila, baby.
Yeah, you can mix baila with Sinhala, English, anything, and Tamil. Yes.
Amazing.
Dance.
Dance. I love it. Thank you so much for doing this, of course. And with that, we're going to jump into a short commercial break. We'll be back with another one, of course, right here on Gen X YZ. Welcome back to Gen X YZ right here on Other Than 24, where we're in conversation with something very important right here on Gen X YZ. We're talking about the colonization of music in Sri Lanka. We despise hearing anything that is actually traditional when we come to Sinhala music, Tamil music, tunes of it. We despise it. Well, why is this? This is exactly why we're in conversation right here with Rob the DJ, who's actually included all of these elements of what Sri Lankan and traditional music is right here on Gen X YZ. Well, we're quite excited, and we are getting a little bit of a perspective actually of someone that is actually in the Western side of things. Okay, this is of course Martina. Well, thank you so much for joining us right here on Gen X YZ. Now, I know you manage Rob, right? You manage Rob. But how has it been? Because his taste in music is very different. You actually, he includes Tamil tunes, he includes Sinhala tunes. How do you sort of market it, especially coming into Sri Lanka?
Hi guys, so thank you for having us. Yeah, you said it right. It's a little bit different for us because we started here in Sri Lanka just with shoots, video shoots of him playing on the street. Then it somehow became viral because I think we were a little bit different than other DJs here. We're not scared to show some differences between him playing some of commercial music, but then mostly connecting the culture, Tamil culture, Sinhalese culture, and to connect with Afro house, mostly Afro house. So we started to shoot these videos on the street, and then as I said, it was more and more popular. And then we organized a lot of beautiful events here in the south, also in Colombo. I think why this is different, why this is successful, it's that, as I said, we were not scared to put the impact or put the influence from the Tamil culture, from the Sinhalese culture, but connected with also the Western European influence, also connected with Afro house. It's a honestly big topic. It's not hard to have one answer for that.
But how do you find it in music? For an example, okay, now Rob obviously plays a little bit more in terms of these amazing cultural, ethnic tunes that you actually indulge, which is absolutely great. But how do you find it? Because you've also gone to Colombo. The Colombo music is completely different. It's very Western influence, right? It's the same music over and over again. But when you hear his, it's very different. So you coming from a different background, different ethnic minority, you come from a different upbringing. How do you find it when it comes to Sri Lankan music? Do you find it different, or how is it?
Yeah. We just started to do it and we just went for it. We wanted to show to, Colombo people or visitors, also here people in the south, that we can make the our events a little bit different. We were really went for it. We wanted to connect our events, our videos with Tamil music, with Sinhalese music, just every time mixing it with a little bit of, as I said, Afro house. We just asked some people, venue owners, if they would be happy to organize some events with us. And I think we had so many good and cool ideas. They gave us a space, and then we just went for it, and we just started to organize these events. I think we did a lot of good marketing. Every time we were like a little bit different with some ideas. That's why I think always, if you are a little bit different, if you have like special ideas, then you can be successful. That's why I think all of these events which we started to do, Colombo or here in the South, we were like not scared to jump from the commercial part of the music to something different. So as I said, connecting the Tamil Sinhalese culture with a little bit of some maybe commercial Afro house music, but every time we try to do it in a little bit different way.
One, yeah. Do you like the music in Sri Lanka? How is it?
I love all the Sri Lankan music. It doesn't matter if it's a Tamil music, doesn't matter if it's a Sinhalese music, but the thing is that I think you Sri Lankans, you should be proud of this beautiful music which you have, and you shouldn't be scared to post it or like promote it also in different countries, in Europe and some Western countries, because it's a beautiful, beautiful music. I think what's a little bit sad here, that all of these musicians and DJs here, they are a little bit scared to promote the music from here. I think you should go for it. I think you should be more proud of the music which you have here. Every time you can take an influence, you can take inspiration from other countries, but I think you should be still like more stuck for your music, because it's beautiful. I honestly didn't know anything about Sri Lankan music before, about Tamil songs, about Sinhalese songs before.
Now you know all of it.
Now I know all of it, and I have to say it's beautiful. And I love what Rob is doing, that he's every time putting his energy, mixing it in his way. And then it's still Tamil song, it's still Sinhalese song, but it's like with a little bit of spices of his vibe, his like culture, and I think this is the most beautiful thing.
I love the fact that you mentioned spices, right? That's exactly what he brings into authenticity. Now,
that's
Rob,
the definition of Sri Lanka, all
it's
the
spices. It's the definition of Sri
really.
Lanka. I love it, honestly. Rob, you did this really, really cool video that went viral, right? And this is obviously you just being in the hub of Colombo. It's the most busy place. It's Pera. You sat on a lorry and you were just basically mixing and playing. That just got you such a big reach. Where did the authentic idea come by? And because it's very unique the way you do your artistry. It's very simple, very basic, but still gives that authenticity. How does the ideation come by?
I think it was super simple. We wanted to shoot in Petta because it's the commercial hub of Sri Lanka for a long, long, long time. It's a mix of cultures, all the different communities are present there. It's quite iconic. And it's a place that is so underrated and not really put on the map of tourists or the outside world. So it needed to be highlighted. So we just took our bags with our equipment, went there. There was a truck that I saw which was quite iconic. And we said, okay, let's shoot on this. I asked the shop owner if I can sit on it and play.
And you just did it,
So there is no real kind of like massive
planning, none of that.
It's natural, being ourselves. Whatever's in the moment, it happens,
just go for
everything fits together, and then we shot a video that went viral. So there's no like big agencies, master planning, nothing around it. Just having fun, playing and spreading good music to people, but it's also spreading music that they resonate with. So it was a Tamil song from a very popular like movie, and obviously there's a mix of audience there. They know and they recognize it, and it's traditional beats. In the same scenario, if I played, I don't know, ABBA, and the same instance, same setup, same people, but a Western song that they would 99.99% of them wouldn't even know who ABBA is. So this is where this piece comes in, finding an audience and playing music that they resonate to or will understand or will vibe to. And that's quite important. That's why it has such a reach. So that's why this whole conversation has been about being yourself. It's not necessarily so much emphasis on like, okay, you have to play Tamil music.
I'm going to cut you off there a little bit, because I think that's very interesting that you mentioned in terms of finding your TG, right? TG is very important. So what you're saying is your TG is basically people that love that kind of music or those tunes, is basically the people in, lower range of people, meaning like people like in Petta or, certain areas in Colombo, or the people that are not of the caliber that people usually go in terms of listening to music, DJ music and what's-so. Is that what you're trying to say, or are you trying to say that, yet the club or people that actually go to, listen to music or entertain themselves with music needs to incorporate the cultural aspect of things?
I think people, the DJs and artists in the club scene, the mainstream music scene, need to incorporate like traditional music. There is traditional music, and there is also the pop style Tamil and Sinhala music too. There are so much elements of that. So music doesn't really divide. Like I can't say, okay, for this class of working class people, I'm going to play this specific music, but to higher end Colombo elites, I'm going to play this kind of music. It doesn't necessarily mean that. You need to find the balance of when to play. I played the same song, and similar songs that I played in PETA also at Cinnamon Life, and people still resonate. We're still the same people. The jobs that we do are different, but the music doesn't really divide them or categorize them to, they can only listen to this kind of music. It's universal. So I think, yeah, it's also, my point was more like understanding the audience in terms of what they will resonate with. Certain beats, certain rhythms are something that, certain drums is something that we've been used to. These are generational things, Now they're listened to on radio, but before that, maybe 100 years back,
it was
you
the
had
tablas,
villages,
it was,
people are
the
drumming,
drums,
and that's how we listen to music, right? So you got to find things that brings out the Sri Lankan in us and resonate with that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. So I know a lot of the youth that are actually watching it right now as well. The thing is that they actually don't find inspiration, or they just find absolute disgust in terms of listening to anything that is something from their own country, But even if it's a tune that's Sinhalese, a Tamil tune, they don't like it. If it's a tabla sequence, they're like, no, it's too good, it's not my vibe. Even though they're born and bred in the country, right? Yet that is how the colonization has actually played a role in terms of music. How and what is in your mind in terms of doing that is actually going to decolonize, or youth watching right now as well, to really embrace the Sri Lankan music?
I think it's about supporting your local artists. What Sri Lankans are good at, and I've seen this, maybe also other Asian countries are good at, it's like they don't support a local artist until this local artist gets so big. It's like, I've seen so many of the Tamil diaspora artists who are big outside, and then all of a sudden, all the Sri Lankans are loving them and embracing them. So when they're big, they're Sri Lankans. When they're still struggling, they're Tamil diaspora, or Sinhala diaspora. It's like this, you can't do that. You got to support everyone from here to push up. And there's so many songs that have gone big around the globe that are now like really popular, like we played in clubs. But there are also good stuff here that have been produced, but people don't want to listen to them because they're not big enough. So this kind of culture needs to stop. And it's not necessarily that the youth don't want, are discussed about the kind of music. It's also we need to up our game in terms of quality and production.
Correct.
That needs to happen more, right? Because a lot of the stuff is still not, the standard is not there. So when you compare the sound and the production, the mastering quality of the songs produced here versus what's being produced in India or what's being produced in the West, it's so different.
Very different.
So there is still a lot of work that we need to do, and this happens with more of the Sri Lankan diaspora coming back and giving their input and expertise, or the music scene here being supported more so that they have more resources and more knowledge to make that track so much better and export it outside. So I think there's so many elements to it. It's one, supporting local artists. Another one is having better quality of music coming out too.
Personally, what are you doing in terms of like expanding that?
Expanding that, it's like here I've been trying to get, for me, I can only work within my resources and my capabilities, right? And what I've been trying to do is give more like local Sri Lankan artists more opportunities to play, specifically in the south.
So I think personally, the both of you have done an absolutely brilliant job in terms of bringing that, cutting off that diaspora of not liking Tamil and Sinhala music. You guys have actually really brought that in. So I don't know what to say, because I think you guys are going to do great things in forward as well, and I feel like you're going to influence a lot of things, because I heard recently there are more club owners opening certain things as well, or entertainments in the night that involves this aspect of Sri Lankan music, Tamil music, Bollywood music. So I love it. So thank you so much for doing this right here on Gen XYZ and influencing the youth as well. What word do you actually have to tell the youth, just one word that would really inspire them to really love or decolonized music?
I would just say, like, be yourself, be original, be proud, where you are from. Doesn't matter if it's like you are from Sri Lanka, you are from Europe. Just support your own music. Be proud of the historical part of that. Be part of your culture. Be proud of your culture. And we have a beautiful music scene here in Sri Lanka. Be proud of it and just share it with the world. I would say
Super.
that.
Thank you so much. And there was like multiple words.
I'm sorry.
No,
I
thank
never
you so
can say
much.
just
Thank you
one
so
word.
No, that's all good.
Thank you so much.
One word, Rob, that you actually have to say. to
Maybe
the-
two, but it's a Sinhalese word. J-Wava?
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I like it.
J-Wava.
Awesome, thank you so much. And this is, of course, a wrap right here on Gen XYZ, right here in the south of Sri Lanka. We're quite excited to actually give this product to you as well. But don't forget, in case you do miss out on an episode, we are available on youtube.com/Derana English. And with that, see you on a different episode.
The way we move, skin on the skin. No separation, need no compensation. Nah, nah, nah. On everything, it's automatic, going 0 to 100. Nah, nah. Right, and wishing the wheels will fall off. Time is ticking, it's taking you too long. Right before I decide to go. And like you heard me, all this I bit up if you deserve me. Yeah.
Girl, my love is worth it. Press it up, girl.
Push the stars. And like you heard me, all this I bit up if you deserve me. Yeah.
Shake it up like a